How we doing?
I'm doing good, Jeremy. It's been a hot second, but we're back.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's monitors? This is awesome. You need to download this.
I do. I figured today we could start with a dad joke.
I love it. He found my book.
I found the book. So, Jeremy, when is the vampire's favorite part of a horse race? When it's neck to neck. So just one more random page here. Let's see. What did the viewer do when they saw this episode?
Liked and subscribed?
They did. I'm a little rusty on those. Okay, I got you good with them last time.
I'm watching for them now.
How are you, man?
Good.
Yeah. It's been a little while, but lots has happened since then, really.
I mean, maybe with you, I've been just sick.
That's true. I mean, that's still a thing happening.
What was the last time we missed a couple weeks? You were sick?
Yeah.
And then now I've been sick. Not fun, people. Not fun.
No, it's a bad time. But you got a cool, shiny, circular thing mounted on your wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got a gold record.
Got that gold record.
There's no way to say that without sounding like a total douche.
Yeah, but I brought it up though. So
so are you the douche? Or?
No, well, it's not mine. It's not mine. So
we found a loophole.
I'll just follow you around everywhere and say it really loudly in crowds. Jeremy, what did you just get?
Douche by proxy. But yeah, it's hanging up over there.
It's pretty neat.
It's pretty cool. Got some hardware,
Other things that have changed, you have a mountain of Ethernet switches.
Oh yeah, and I think I finally figured out what the issue is. It's this very specific thing that I'm trying to do, and because I'm Mac based and the switches that I have access to, I have to go in and switch forwarding to single port so that the Mac will not self-identify its IP. I don't know. I've been talking back and forth to Odd and Nate, and they're awesome and helping, but I think it's just the growing pains of figuring out a completely new setup, but I'm close. I have it half working. I got sound out of one of the machines, and I'm stoked because we're so close to being able to just pump out templates for you guys, which, by the way, the first one's for sale.
First one is for sale.
It is on big sale.
Big sale indeed, yeah.
Intro sale. So go pick up a template if you want.
Yeah, go snag it while the price is right.
Use it for live streaming. You could use it to mix your own stuff. Go pick it up.
Use it for anything, You could wrap a little pillowcase around and use it as a comfy way to rest your head at night. I don't know why that was the first thing that came to my mind.
It's not very good at that, but
it is a digital product, huh? You would have to wrap your entire computer or laptop or whatever you use.
Your computer will fall asleep nice and cozy. That's for sure. But
unless you're Windows based, there's some problems with the Windows sleep still. So
I wouldn't know about that because your boy's all Apple.
All Apple all the time.
But that is the most direct way to support the channel. And there's a lot more stuff coming. And I hope you like this dude's face, not only on this channel, but on mine. Because I think there's going to be more coming on that.
I think so. I think we're kind of building up to make a lot of neat stuff together.
On the precipice, as they say.
Ooh, the precipice. I like that.
You got to have vocabulary calendars.
Yeah.
They keep you.
I might have too much sibilance to say precipice. Sibilance is one of those words, why did you make it that word?
Why did you spell it like that?
That same thing with a speech impediment. That's so rude to people that have speech impediments.
Oh.
It really, why do we choose these words? But yeah, go get a template.
So you got a new bass.
I did get a new bass. It's over here actually.
Should we well, I don't know what we're talking about today. So you tell me.
I don't know. We could if the fine folks want to see a new instrument, we can pull that out. I brought my pedal board if we want to plug it in and get initial sounds, or we could just show it off visually.
No, this is your car. You're driving, my friend.
Oh, no. Oh, geez. Well, why don't I, instead of making you sit in torment, screaming at the screen, Josh, Jeremy, just show it to us. We just want to see it. I'll grab it.
Go for it.
Oh, I will. Like, immediately. Like, real quickly. So nobody has to wait.
Okay.
I know there's anticipation and it's been building, and I don't want to rob people of the enjoyment and make them frustrated.
I get it. No, I hate nothing more than when you do that, or you can just use a jump cut and then all of a sudden we're right there.
I could. Or a clock wipe. So I just got sent a Vola bass, a ZVA, and it rounds out my arsenal pretty well, because believe it or not, Jeremy, of all the years that I've been playing and recording and just doing bass stuff, I don't have a P bass of any kind.
I believe it because I've hired you.
I know. And we've made it work. But now I've got one, sort of.
I just noticed Vola, the voice of life and arts. That's cool.
That is neat. I like that. Voice of life and arts. So 4-string, like I said, maple neck, alder body, active preamp in here, but we got the PJ kind of style set up on the pickups, P bass and J bass, and then got our little slots for the 9 volts.
2 9 volts. 2
9 volts.
So is it an 18-volt circuit?
I have had one other bass similar to this. My Modulus has a 18-volt like preamp built into it too. So my assumption is that's what it is. It actually, on the spec sheet, it doesn't really clarify what it is, but put it through the ringer, see how it goes. And something that I'm really stoked about, not only on this bass, but just in general, that I've been seeing more and more on basses. It's got a switch here, toggle between active and passive, which has really not been a good thing for me in the past. I have a few basses that are all active all the time with no passive option. And when you're in the middle of a long gig and that battery starts to whine, it is a bad time. But yeah, comes in 2 colors. I got the charcoal variant. It also has a candy apple red type of variant. It's pretty slick.
So this is, let's see. The frets feel good.
They do. That's always the first thing I check out.
Japanese made. Okay.
Yep.
What kind of tuners we got?
I believe, Goto
tuners.
Goto tuners and Goto bridge, which if you play bass and you know anything about hardware, that's usually a really good sign.
How's it feel?
So I have played it for approximately 10 seconds.
All of which I saw because you just pulled it out.
I just pulled it out of the box. It showed up at my house, and then I threw it in the car and came up here. But from what I can tell so far, it feels really nice. I've
never seen this before.
Oh yeah, the 0 fret. So, upright players are usually taught to rely on open strings as much as they can, because that's like it helps you root your ear to what the pitch actually should be. And on electric, my whole upbringing, and then what I try to encourage my students to do as well, is to stay away from the open strings, because usually there's quite a different timbre that goes on there. And sometimes you can't avoid it, but I think it's good not only to have a more consistent tone, but also to get comfortable kind of knowing your way around the fretboard, not relying on, A is just an open A string. Like, no, you can play that in other places too. But 0 fret kind of helps make everything sound a little bit more consistent.
Really?
Yeah. So
just having a fret there makes a difference.
Yeah, because think about it, right? Anytime you are fretting a note anywhere else on the neck, it's that metal on metal contact that's actually making the pitch.
Right.
But if you rely on the bridge, now you have a completely different consistency of material.
Yeah.
So that 0 fret helps out with that a lot. I don't know if this is just kind of my own personal experience, anecdotal or not, but I really like 0 frets for slap stuff for the same reason, because slap, a lot of it relies on open strings or some kind of pattern of open string to hammer on kind of stuff elsewhere.
That is new to me. I've never seen that. So just the fact that the metal's making contact with the nut, in theory, is what gives you like a more even tone.
Well, the at where the nut lives, having that fret metal be what is actually holding up the string itself is giving you that kind of more similar timbre and tone throughout. Whereas the nut itself is more of just keeping the strings in line.
It's actually in contact with this.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's pretty nifty. I like them. But action feels nice and snappy. Comes stock with Diodario strings. I don't know the specifics on it, but they feel like they're just mediums. And they also feel like they're not like the NYXLs. I don't think they're coated, but I could be wrong. I'm not a string savant or anything. All I know is that they come with Diodarios. How do you say that? Diodario?
I say Diodario.
Yeah, I've heard it said.
Diodaro.
Dadario.
We're up in the Midwest, boy. Diodaro.
But yeah, for full disclosure, Vola sent it to me. So they didn't tell me what I had to say. They didn't even say I had to show it on the podcast or anything like that. But I like it.
Well, this
I'm
is
stoked.
more of you being a player, not even a podcast necessarily.
Yeah. And Joshua of my group, Joshua Powell, he's also a Vola artist, and he has one of their guitars. It's their T-style guitar. That thing feels and sounds so nice.
By the way, new song out, Coffin Club.
Yeah, Coffin Club just dropped
check it out.
a few days ago. Put the link down below. But if you watch any of the Recording Studio Loser stuff, then you have seen at least 2 videos that have that tune, one of which was us in here recording it. And which, what was the theme of that video? It was was that the all ribbon?
The Coffin Club was Loughton.
Okay, all Loughton, yeah.
It's the next one that's coming out.
Yeah.
That was ribbon. Is there a drop date for that?
There's not a drop date yet.
Okay.
But I think we finalized the mix, right? Last I heard. Yeah.
That thing, I'm super excited for that one now, because at first I was like, this sounds like total trash. Because of me. I could not, I was fighting that mix. And then one night it all fell into place, and I was like, this is one of my best mixes I've ever done. I could be completely delusional about that, but I think it sounds good.
I like it a lot. Yeah. And I like the feel, and if you go and listen to Coffin Club, especially if you pull it up on YouTube Music as opposed to Spotify or something, or check out Bandcamp if you want to, really support and stuff. Not that you have to, but it'd be cool. We like that. The feel of that mix is really nice to me, because it hits like that. Man, we say the word nostalgic so much but I don't know exactly how else to describe it, but it's like it's warm and cozy feeling, but it has the niceties of a lot of the more modern kind of sounds. I don't know. I like it. And I still don't, one of the things that I need to figure out is like, how do you get such a clean mid-side kind of thing going on? Like everything
on the mix as a whole?
Yeah, because everything just has its place, but it's all there.
That's just trial and error like crazy.
Yeah.
Like carving out very specific spots. The bass to guitar relationship in your guys' stuff. Now on Coffin Club, I don't feel like I got it as right I did on the next one. But it's that, like, where does the bass live in comparison to the guitars? And the guitars were kind of all over the place on that first one. Mm-hmm. But like we got good tones in the room, and actually the video we put out getting like the phase alignment like as perfect as you can was a huge part in getting the guitar tones right. which helped me figure out the bass tone, which then work your way backwards. And then it just kind of falls into place.
And I mean, for both of those songs, you had some unique kind of hurdles and stuff to go over. Like the All Outen one, maybe outside perspective, probably felt a little more natural to work with because you had more specialized mics for the different things you were miking.
Yeah, we basically had every mic in Loughton's catalog minus the LA320s, I think. We didn't have any of those, but everything else on the kit was Loughton. Everywhere. And that was right when snare mic was coming out too. So we used snare mic in as many places as we could.
But we couldn't talk about it yet, right?
Not at the time.
Yeah, we couldn't talk about it at the time.
And so that one was really interesting to see like a wide swath of, okay, here's like one company's very wide spectrum of what do they think a record sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's even that in and of itself is subjective, but you can see like how they design their microphones to fit different like spots in the spectrum, and it worked really well. Like, surprise, it works really well because you have like really good designs and then one company's vision of how these things should play well together, and they played well together.
Yeah.
Like, so it was really interesting. The other one that's not out yet was all a ribbon mics.
Yeah, all ribbon mics.
That was really difficult because I have like some of the vintage stuff, and then they sent some modern ribbons, and those two things don't necessarily play well together.
Well, and on top of that, you had way more mic options per source than you normally would, right?
Yeah.
Specifically guitar stuff.
Yeah, guitar and bass cab. We like just why
bass
not?
cab.
Why not put everything on it?
If I can find a photo of that day, I'll put one up right now of the bass cab. It was it was ridiculous. It was great.
So many microphones.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the right thing to do, but hey, you might find stuff you like. I found things that I've tried that day that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. I mean, I think the name of the game is like experimenting with stuff and finding new sounds or new ways to get to the end result that you didn't really expect.
That's what makes those days fun, because like I have no idea what to expect when I put all that stuff up. So it puts you in like a totally different mindset when you're trying to like produce a session that fast. So you're leaning.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
Sorry, phone. I don't know what went wrong, but we'll talk about it later. I'm sorry to not be here in your time of need right now, but we'll talk about it.
That was creepy.
That was weird. It's even in Do Not Disturb.
It disturbed.
It disturbed. Do not. I heard the sound. I was like, what? Does Jeremy have like an alarm or something over there? Yeah.
Siri's just listening in.
Yeah.
She doesn't want us to spill the beer. And mine turned on.
In all defense, you did say,
all right.
Say her name.
Okay.
Whoop, whoop.
But working within those limitations, I think, is what made that stuff so cool, because we leaned into those differences.
Yeah.
And you guys do this really well in the studio, where you're not the type of people to come into the studio and be like, no, we're going to do it this way because that's my sound.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, but that's such a big thing in the studio, because as you're building something from the ground up on like a sonic picture of what an album is going to sound like, I mean, you're a drummer tuning something slightly different than what you practice in your garage or wherever you're practicing, or a live show. It's going to be different here. Yeah. Just because the mic is super close, or you have a different mic, or you're in a different room, or they had something different for breakfast, you're playing at a different time of day. Like,
had an extra bowl of Wheaties.
Yeah, and everything plays so intricately together with other sources that you have to be willing to like, okay, now that we're under a microscope, maybe think about making this adjustment, bass player, or think about making this adjustment, guitar player. Mm-hmm. And the thing with guitar players a lot is they'll have like way too much distortion on their signal.
Yeah.
Like that's, I mean, I think on Coffin Club, I turned the gain down like quite a bit, a few times, and it's still like a super,
it's very gainy
tone. And I had pulled that stuff back like crazy.
And there was, even before that, there was still some trial and error, trying different amps out, trying to see what sound feel. And that in and of itself can be a hurdle for a particular player coming in. And like Joshua brought his amp that he knows and uses a lot, and we ended up using something different.
I think the speaker wasn't working right, I think, if I remember.
I think there were, for some reason, whatever it was, I think that sounds right. A connection to the speaker.
There was a rattle or something that you wouldn't notice in a live show, but now that it's under a microscope, you're going to notice all the little things that could possibly go wrong. And those little things are what add up to this massive difference. Because it's not like, I mean, in those instances where we're trying to give ourselves these crazy limitations to work within, I'm not taking like backups. Like we don't have DIs to lean on.
Yeah.
So it's like, we got to get it right.
Yeah, exactly.
So that made those records like really hard, but really rewarding when it finally worked.
Yeah.
So
it felt good.
I was nervous about when Coffin Club came out, because now that I've mixed the other one, I'm like, crap. And I was like, it doesn't sound too bad.
I think it sounds great. I'm definitely biased, but I think it sounds awesome. And that's part of I think we've talked about this too, I think, but that's a really narrow bridge to walk down in terms of like your mental attitude in this industry or any type of artistic industry, of looking back and understanding that this thing that I did, if I were to do it again now, I could do it better.
Yeah.
But instead of letting that whole thing swallow you up and then being afraid of doing anything else because you think you're going to feel that again, is using that as fuel of like, first of all, that just means I've gotten better at what I'm doing. I'm still growing. And then more fuel to be like, well, 2 other releases down the line, I'm going to be thinking the same thing about what I'm working on right now. Hopefully, right? Hopefully that's how it turns out, because that just means you keep getting better and better and learning more about what you're doing.
Yeah. I see it in bands a lot when like they'll want to pull down their old stuff when something sounds good. It's like, no, I mean, keep that stuff up because it shows your arc.
Yeah.
And for me and a lot of other engineers, like even the last song you did, you're like, oh, it sounds awful. I'm so much better now. That's a really good sign.
Exactly.
That you're doing something right, albeit really frustrating. But
yeah, that's definitely true.
The accumulation of skill and knowledge is like happens so slow in what we do, but like the little wins make for big differences. So you notice them, and you're just constantly learning and constantly getting better. So
how does like ear fatigue affect you?
Big time.
Yeah.
Like I have to walk away. I have to give myself time. I try to give myself like time limits. I have like a 25-minute timer. And if I go beyond that, like I'll have to walk away, go outside, do something else. So I try to have my dim switch on my monitor controller. Like I will do 99% of my work with the dim switch on, just because it's 20 dB quieter than it would be otherwise. Because if I listen to it super loud for too long,
you're going to be worn out. Yeah.
But when you get close and you're almost done, like it has to sound good loud. So you got to switch back and forth and like different levels listening. But yeah, it's something that you're constantly thinking about, even acclimating gear, because I use a lot of outboard gear in my process, which means I'm using a lot of signal generators and calibrating stuff. So if I listen to a 1K tone at any level, it's going to mess up my ears because they're going to get acclimated to that one single sine wave. And everything I hear after that is going to be weird.
It's going to be thrown off in comparison, yeah.
So I have to completely mute the system, calibrate, turn it back on. Like even little things like that. Like you got to be super careful of.
Now, is that the kind of thing you learn the hard way?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, man, I had another shoot.
I had another shoot.
It was a question I was kind of excited about because I was genuinely curious about it. Oh, so I know that there's multiple schools of thought on levels when you're mixing. Where do you fall in that camp? Because I know some people that swear by mix as softly as you can. And then, like you said, like, then you turn it up at the end and judge. But primarily, like, keep dB level as low as you can while you're mixing. Then I've heard the opposite of like, no, only mix loud because that's when you're going to be able to hear the nuances. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts on all that?
I like to do it quietly. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're making, you have to check back and forth a lot because that's when you'll know, do the tones sound exciting quiet? Because you can get something where it sounds awesome quiet, but it doesn't necessarily sound good loud. Mm-hmm. So you have to check both spots. I mean, I know a lot more cats who will do it all loud all the time, and it doesn't necessarily still sound exciting quiet. And that's the translation point. Like, one, your room has to be good enough to hear certain things, and mine's not perfect at all. So I lean on listening quiet more than not, because if I excite my room too much, I know it gets weird in the low mids, and my stereo field can get a little jacked up. Mm-hmm. So if I'm quiet and the room's not necessarily excited to that point, I can hear a little more of like the surgical stuff. Now, once it gets louder, then you can feel like different relationships of things, especially like in the lows, and see how like the effects are interacting with each other, and like what starts to happen there. If this sounds good in both places, loud and quiet. Is that my tummy?
I think so.
I have never heard that sound before. I think I'm shutting down. What was that? Man, you get close to 40, like, I don't know what that. I think my body just took an impulse response.
Look for it. Coming up on the shop.
Jeremy's intestines.
IR.
Oh.
One shots.
But so if it sounds good, quiet and loud, then most of the time it'll translate just about anywhere. Because I've had things where I will only mix quiet. Like when I was like, I have to figure out how to do this because my ears cannot take what I listen to. And not that I necessarily listened loud before, but
even a consistent, moderately loud level is going to wear you out.
You're going to get shot fast. I mean, to the point where if I know I have to work for the full day, if there's somebody here working in the building, I will hear them as well as what I'm working on.
Yep.
That's about where I'm listening to most of the time. I mean, and every once in a while you'll hear like anybody else in the building. You wouldn't really hear what I was listening to, but every once in a while it'll go, bah! Like, it'll pop in like, whoa. So I'm sure my neighbors around here are driving around there like, what is he doing? But that's the way I've found that I can work the whole day.
So
into it. When
it comes to mixing at low volumes, are there issues with like the lower frequencies? Is there?
Yeah, you can't really discern a whole lot. Mm-hmm. At least I can't. I mean, there's a little I can do. The real work on the low end happens when I'm getting it loud. I mean, I can tell, and I've built systems, and a lot of it's in the template.
There you go.
That I know if I can look to certain places, then my low end is sitting right. Or if my compressor is reacting to the snare a certain way, the drums are in about an okay spot. Or if when I'm listening quietly, the first thing that pops in that I can hear, if like my speakers are rotary based, so if I turn it all the way down, I hear nothing. The first click, like that first few sources, if I can hear kick, snare, vocal, I'm good. Because those are the three things that matter in like a typical radio mix, right?
You're right.
It's going to be different for different genres, but insert what's important for your genre in that spot. And you know you're basically okay. Because that's the loudest thing in the mix. If it's too loud, that's a whole other problem. But yeah.
I can almost feel somebody like cracking their knuckles, getting ready to type on the keyboard.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But Jeremy, this is music. It's all about what you hear. Why do you use meters and levels and looking at dials?
Because sometimes you can't trust your ears.
Oh, shoot.
If in a perfect world, all things being equal, yeah, it sounds good, it's good. But if you've been working all day and you're on your fourth or fifth song of the day and you think it sounds good, or you may have like some skewed vision, you've kind of lost context. Those other clues are what kind of can pull you back in and allow you to trust those instincts.
Mm-hmm.
Like you never want to mix just with your eyes. I never want to just do things to hit certain criteria that I've given myself.
That would be a really fun challenge idea.
Oh, that would be awful.
It would be fun for me.
Mix only with your eyes.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun experiment, I guess.
Especially if it was a couple days apart or something, and like the one only with your eyes, you don't get to know what the song is. And it's just like cookie cutter track.
I feel like you'd have to know at least what it is.
I mean, you could know the direction you're going.
Like
no, maybe not even
female vocal, male vocal.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, not necessarily like a really, really close dialed in look at the genre or anything, but
it feels like an LTT challenge video is what it is.
That's what. Listen, it's one that I would want to watch.
What if you could listen to it one time all the way through, with everything zeroed out, and then take notes, and then you can't listen to it again until it's finished?
So I think there are two different variants of this challenge now. You've just signed yourself
I'd do
up
that
for
video.
Yeah.
I'd do
so
that.
There's that one. Or you can't hear it at all in any way. You can only use your eyes. And then at another point in time, without you knowing, you're given a song that you have to mix. And it's the same one, all the same stems, but now you can hear it. And because you aren't given any information about it, you don't know that it's the one you already did blind. So how would your approach change once you can hear it versus how is it when you're only looking at the dials?
I feel like you could do that same thing. Just listen to it once, because you got to know something about what you're doing.
But you don't. That makes it less of a challenge.
I feel like the little nuggets of info that you could get out of it, because that's what I would be after, is like, okay, what would they do with this? If you had a small amount of knowledge, like you're going to lean on certain technical choices, but I would have to know what that is. And then remembering like certain habits or certain things that I like, I would be like, what are things that I know just work? Mm-hmm. And that's what I would pull out of the toolbox.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be an interesting one. And then mix it, master it. And then you can listen to it and then go back and remix it.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool video.
That'd be pretty fun. It's a 3-minute song. You're only allowed 2 minutes worth of listening.
Or maybe just one time through the song. I'm gonna
I know you keep going with that, Jeremy, but I'm just trying to step up the challenge here. I don't even want you to hear it all.
I know, you're violent.
I'm in it for the entertainment.
I just tried to look up Notion, and it says reduce motion. What is that?
I don't know.
Reduce motion? Reduce the motion of user interface, including parallax effects of icons.
More static images, I guess.
Hey, if it saves battery, why not?
Do you remember way back in the day? I think this was like before iPhone X days, iPhone 10 days, where they really tried hard to do the parallax wallpaper stuff. I want to say like iPhone 4 or 5. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
And it didn't work very well, but it was also one of the first implementations, and it was like really cool.
Dude, I had a phone that did that. I had the Palm Pilot, maybe? It was like this awesome phone, but it slid up and you had like a physical keyboard.
I remember those.
That was the most beautiful phone ever. And that was like 2010.
Yeah.
I still have not found a phone as good as that phone, and it doesn't exist.
I had do you remember the BlackBerry Storm?
I only had one BlackBerry and I hated it.
I would have. However, this was my first all-screen phone. My first all-screen, just like smartphone, I guess, if you want to call the BlackBerry that. But it had a clickable screen. So there was tactile feedback when you were typing and stuff. But of course, I think that's why they never caught on, because that clickable screen could break so easily. But the entire screen would, like, if I was typing here, it would like click down in this corner or in the middle if I was like typing on it. The thing was cool.
Yeah, that's something you never hear about BlackBerries.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
No, I meant that they're cool. They're not cool.
Well,
They were
not anymore. Ooh, I do have a story from this past weekend.
Let's go.
So I've been busy at work, just gigging all weekend. And I played a private birthday party on Saturday with this like corporate band that I do stuff with. Mm-hmm. Pretty stereotypical standard gig. About 3 hours of music, couple breaks in there. Mid-afternoon, guy's 65th birthday. He loves disco stuff. So, the set list was full of just like party dance music from that era, essentially. So show up, beautiful house on a reservoir, really wealthy neighborhood and that kind of stuff. Awesome party. Everybody was dressed up, having a great time. The birthday boy also drums. And his cousins sang and played trumpet. Really cool. And they were all decked out in their like disco attire. His favorite song is September, which with this group, September is usually the song we kick things off with, and especially tonight. But he drummed, did an awesome job. And his cousins, played trumpet and sang. Mm-hmm. Did a great job. We then played September again for the second set, but also to end the second set. So now we're at 3. And then we started the third set with that, and we ended the night with that.
Wake me up when September ends, huh?
Ooh, well, do you remember the 21st night of September, 25th night? I think 21st night of September. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Mm-hmm. But it was a lot of fun, but it was the most I've ever played September in one night, I tell you that.
I gotta get the birthday boy what he wants, though.
This is true, yeah, and he was such a good sport about it, and he was having a blast. So that made it a lot more fun for us. But
you guys were basically just a jukebox, and he just kept requesting the same song.
That's okay.
That's what you're there for.
And September's a fun one to play. It's not so bad.
And speaking of like gigging and going and doing that stuff, there may be a video coming on that front.
Oh, this is true.
What you could take with you. Could you do that gig with one gig bag?
I could. I could.
You're going to give me a challenge. I'm going to give you a challenge.
Yeah. So what are the parameters of this gig challenge then?
So if you could do, I want to see it. If you could do a live show, a studio thing, taking only what you can carry in one gig bag.
In one gig bag. Do I have pockets on this gig bag?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This is a very specific gig bag.
Some situations would be easier than others. So no amp or anything, yeah? Mm-mm. Just what's in the gig bag.
Ooh. You can make that work in a studio context pretty easy, and I guess if you have a backline, that would work live.
That's true. The backline would make it a lot easier, but I think I can get it done. I think I could even fit in some more like amenities with it, some quality of life things.
That'd be interesting to see. Like, what really matters? Because if you're gonna make me mix a song without hearing it, I'd pick what really matters
in the gig bag.
Yeah, as opposed to like what I like on this event.
Well, you got to have good snacks, and you have to have your energy drinks, and
you got pockets for that stuff. So what do you need to do the gig?
Extra shirt, probably, because it might get sweaty. Do I have to put a bass in the bag?
This is not where I thought this was going.
I don't have to put a bass in it, right? I can carry the bass over my shoulder and just fill the gig bag with other stuff. Is that how it works?
Sure. Whatever. You can take a one carry-on. It's like a Southwest flight.
I've done that before. I've done a flight. Well, actually, like 3 years in a row going out to NAMM, flown to LA with just my bass gig bag as a carry-on, and I stuffed it full of like my clothes and like bought toothpaste and toiletries when I got there because I couldn't afford to have like a check bag or another carry-on.
Oh, the life of a musician.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't want to get too far ahead, but I'm just asking a question here. Because I'm looking at the Vola.
Yeah.
If you were doing a live thing and a studio thing, that's a PJ, right?
It is. Super versatile.
I mean, obviously, I'm not a bass player, but that seems like it would be the move, or something like that would be the move.
Yeah, I think it would be. I can't think of too many contexts where it wouldn't work really well. I'm personally super accustomed to doing like drop tuned things on a 5-string, therefore not drop tuning, hence the quotations.
So will you tune that down to like B?
Not necessarily, unless there was something really specific that needed a low B. That's usually not as common as what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. The lowest I would tune it down to probably is C. The new Joshua Powell song, that's in drop C. And the next one is also in drop C. I play with another group, Macy Ann, and all of her current songs are also in drop C.
Well, so that's handy.
And what that would look like is, if you're not familiar, you tune everything down a whole step, and then you drop the E string. Yeah, it's like drop D, but everything is down another whole step.
So why wouldn't you? I mean, if you like the drop D shape, I can totally see that. But why wouldn't you tune it like a 5-string without the top string? So like B, E, A, D.
I could, but then in my mind, that's not as versatile, because more often, especially if I'm doing like cover band stuff, right? More often than not, I need to have that access to a 4-string approach more often than I don't need to have the bottom 4 strings of a 5-string bass in that kind of context. Now, if I was doing all the original stuff, even then, it would probably still be a drop tune format as opposed to B, E, A, D. Just because there's a lot of riffs. I don't hate on the G string. You know, some of the bass players, they don't like to go up there, and I get it. I respect it.
See, I just don't like the G string. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. I didn't know if you were going to say anything about it when I brought it up.
It's always the first one to go out of tune too. So just go without it.
And
Commando.
They break. Commando tuning.
Oh, we're talking about guitars.
No. What even is this anymore?
I don't know. We're out of practice, folks. It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I've said that on here.
We need to make a stinger for it.
We do.
We need to up the game.
Up the game, indeed.
Record Recs?
Let's do some record Recs.
Bro, I have a whole new pool.
Do you?
I was
in
actually
ground
started,
or above ground?
All right, don't derail me. So I went on a really long run, and this actually, I got brand new running shoes. I thought my running was slacking. No, I was running on shoes that sucked.
That's it. Just like you know, when you have a hard time running, you need new gear. Just like music, if you're having a bad time, you just need to get new gear. That's how it goes.
That is not always the answer.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
I was having wicked foot pain trying to do. I couldn't run a mile, and I was like, maybe I'm just getting old. And my buddy was like, no, you need to go home and just order a new pair of shoes. And first time out, I'm 4.5 miles. I'm like, I still got it.
What do you want to say the type of shoes that you got?
Oh yeah, Ultra Olympus 4s are my old ones, and I just had them for years. I didn't realize how long I'd had them.
They're just worn in
because they look so new still, because they're really built shoes, and I didn't realize I'd had them for a few years, and the foam just started to deteriorate. And I'm a heavy boy, so it deteriorates even faster. So I got Olympus 5s.
Ooh,
and they're great, but. So a long run actually started with COFFIN CLUB because it came out that day.
Oh, nice.
And then YouTube did its thing, and I got so many good recommendations off of that song.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay.
Let me pull it up, y'all.
Man, you did the smart thing. Are you just adding him to that playlist when you think about him?
Mm-hmm. Man. I'm trying to think which one would
big brain over there.
So there's 2 bands that I want to do. We're going to do another video. So, okay. So this first one is going to be, have you heard of Delta Sleep?
I don't think so. Let me see that artwork. No.
I think I went through like 2 of their records. I wouldn't know how to suggest one of their records, but like,
I love
was a
this
cool
like
song.
in the room type of tone.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm a sucker for that kind of feel. Like it's like they're at the end of a corridor singing to you.
Like it reminds me very much of like Minus the Bear.
Mm-hmm. I almost felt the beginning felt a little like Chon to me.
Like Chon, L1011, Minus the Bear, like all those things put in a blender, and you have Delta Sleep.
That's cool.
It's magical.
I'm definitely checking out that album.
And if you're into that vibe, my next few recs are gonna be all in this.
Ooh, that's how you got to hook them. Come back to the next episode for Jeremy's other recs. I don't think I've talked about this group yet. Does this look familiar to you?
No.
Okay. I heard about this group maybe a year or so ago, but I just kind of dove back into it over this past week. Katsushika Trio. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If not, there will be a link down below, as always. And it's just kind of mostly like hyper jazz type of stuff. It's almost like, you might not know this, Jeremy, but one of the greatest video game soundtracks of all time is Mario Kart 8. So if you dig that kind of like Nintendo jazz type of vibe,
that's all my kids play, yeah.
Then check out this album. No specific song, honestly, and there are some I wouldn't even be able to name because they're in like different languages, but it's just a good vibe. It's like it's energetic, clean the house or study music. It's all instrumental, but it's also really good, like focused listening music. So I like having that option. Sometimes you just want lo-fi beats to fill the background and to have noise going on. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you want something that you can choose to think about and like maybe analyze, or a cool riff like piques your interest. Mm-hmm. But then at a moment's notice, you can focus again on what you're working on. So.
Or maybe you just want to play on your depressive tendencies and
there you go.
You know,
feel like somebody's singing to you from the end of a corridor.
There you go.
I will check that out though. The Detail, Delta Sleep. Mm-hmm. The Detail is that song, right? Mm-hmm. And this was Katsushika Trio. But that's what I recommend this week. That's what you recommend this week.
What do you recommend this week?
I recommend maybe you consider thinking about hitting the like and subscribe button if you dig that kind of stuff.
I recommend you go to our Discord and join, because I'm starting to get into Discord. And it's a fun way to interact.
It's a cool way to get access to a bunch of different people.
A few little back and forths over there.
Yeah, some conversations going on. To be completely honest, a couple conversations that go way over my head.
Same.
But
you guys
that's what it's
way
there for.
Smarter than us. So
this is true.
But that's what Discord's for.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's going to be about it for this week, Jeremy. Unless you have some like really important, life-altering things to say right now.
Just the meaning of life, and I think that it's